Hello, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Dr. Mark Foster Show. Today I wanted to offer some further reflections on the Valley of Wonderment. In the book Selections from the Writings of Abdu'l-Baha, on page 320, Abdu'l-Baha wrote, O handmaid of God, thy letter hath been received, bringing its news that an assembly hath been established in that city. Look ye not upon the fewness of thy numbers, rather, seek ye out hearts that are pure. One consecrated soul is preferable to 1,000 other souls. If a small number of people gather lovingly together, with absolute purity and sanctity, with their hearts free of the world, experiencing the emotions of the kingdom and the powerful magnetic forces of the divine, and being at one in their happy fellowship, that gathering will exert its influence over all the earth. The nature of that band of people, the words they speak, the deeds they do, will unleash the bestowals of heaven and provide a foretaste of eternal bliss. The hosts of the company on high will defend them, and the angels of the Baha'i paradise, in continuous succession, will come down to their aid. By angels, the meaning of angels is the confirmations of God and his celestial powers. Likewise, angels are blessed beings who have severed all ties with this nether world, have been released from the chains of self and the desires of the flesh, and anchored their hearts to the heavenly realms of the Lord. These are of the kingdom, heavenly. These are of God, spiritual. These are revealers of God's abounding grace. These are dawning points of his spiritual bestowals. To focus a moment on the second part of what I read, the meaning of angels is the confirmations of God and his celestial powers. I have often heard it said, and in fact I used to believe this myself, that Abdu'l-Baha is saying that when we receive confirmations of God, that those confirmations of God are angels. In other words, that at least in one sense, the term angels refers to confirmations of God. To my understanding now, however, that view is not entirely accurate. I think what Abdu'l-Baha is saying here is that when angels are sent to us, they are sent to us as confirmations of God. So it's not that confirmations of God are angels, it's that angels are confirmations of God. So in this brief passage I read, angels appears to me to be used in two different senses. One is to these angels who are sent to us, the hosts of the company on high and the angels of the Baha'i paradise, and who give us blessings and divine confirmations. And the other is human beings living in this world who have severed themselves from this netherworld, the world of dust, and have been released from the chains of self and the desires of the flesh. That seems to me to be a pretty good description of the valley of true poverty and absolute nothingness. But in terms of the angels as confirmations of God, I think that those are the dear beings that we meet when we are living in the Valley of Wonderment. In the book, The Seven Valleys, Baha'u'llah refers to the Valley of Wonderment as the sixth valley before the Valley of True Poverty and Absolute Nothingness. And in that valley, he refers to the beings that appear to us in the world of dreams. And he says that no one except the inhabitants of this valley, the Valley of Wonderment, can understand who these beings are. To me, those are the beings who come to us as divine confirmations. Unfortunately, the whole concept of dreams, in my view, has been totally distorted by psychiatry, clinical psychology, especially beginning with Sigmund Freud and even going on up to Carl Jung. What they did is they presented dreams in a kind of idealist fashion. Idealism is a philosophy which focuses on some type of ideals or mind or language, something that is immaterial or non-substantial, which is regarded as some level of reality. But I don't think that is entirely accurate. Dreams, in my view, are not idealizations. They're not abstractions. They are real conditions of existence, substance. The world of dreams, in my view, is an actual condition, perhaps a place in a sense. When we close our eyes and drift off into the world of dreams at night, our senses are dulled. We can then perceive the existence of these angelic beings, these souls who have been created, I think, to assist us and to serve us, and after we die as angels of death, to guide us into the world to come. Just like the story of Jacob's ladder in the Hebrew Bible. They act as intermediaries between this world and the world to come. But really they are the beings of this world. This world is their world. This world is the world of archangels. It is not our world. This world for us is a temporary way station. Our world is the hereafter, the Abha kingdom, the pure realms of spirit that the archangels also have access to. So, in a sense, we are really not home here. Our home is the world that we will enter when we leave this temporary world and we are escorted into this great world beyond. That, to me, is the point of this world. And as I have pointed out in previous broadcasts, In my view, that is the reason why abortion, although it should not be done on a whim or haphazardly, is really not as big of a deal as some people make it. In the Hebrew Bible, there is a statement on murder, and it says that whoever murders somebody shall die. Well, a few verses later, there is a statement that if someone strikes a woman and her fetus dies, that he shall pay a fine. So very clearly, the death of a fetus and the death of a breathing human being, a being who was breathing on her or his own, are distinguished from one another. So I think that the emphasis on this world and the importance of living in this world and the supposed horrors of abortion places much too much emphasis on this world. In any event, the majority of zygotes, of fertilized eggs, never attach themselves to the uterine wall, and so consequently, if the soul is created at that moment of conception, those souls go on into the next world without ever having lived in this world. Because living in this world, although it has a purpose, is not necessary. Souls who go into the next world immediately, Abdu'l-Baha says, are at the mercy of God, and God will watch over them. We have been assured of that. So I think that reality is much more complex than we often think of it as being. And so, to me, in the Valley of Wonderment, which is the gateway to the Valley of True Poverty and Absolute Nothingness, where one recognizes that that life in this world is really unimportant from an eternal perspective, except in as much as we can be of service and prepare ourselves for the next world. Other than that, if a person just lives for this world, the person has totally wasted their time. That is why one of the loftiest stations, if not the most lofty station that any human being can attain to, is the station of martyrdom. Because that way, that person has recognized, living in the valley of true poverty and absolute nothingness, that this world really does not matter, and has prepared his or her soul to enter into the next world in a purified condition. Until next time, this is Dr. Mark Foster. Have a good one.